Welcome to another Lorenzo's Music Podcast. I am Tom, and this is a show where I talk to Creative Commons artists, other musicians, people who make music, people who make things for musicians, specifically open source things for musicians, all that kind of stuff. But I have a person today who is involved in music, also helping out musicians, and also involved in the CC music community. So why don't you tell the people who you are and what it is you do?
Hi, I'm Ryno, also known as Ryno the Bearded. I am a long-term podcaster. I've been doing a Creative Commons music podcast for 15 years now, which just seems ridiculous. But I never tasted it. I was doing it really heavy, and then my career took off, and it just became this great hobby of mine where I get to celebrate open culture and Creative Commons music. And every Friday night, I sit around and drink whiskey and play music and talk shit, and people come and hang out. But what's really cool about that is because I've been very lucky in life, I've been put in a place that I also get to support musicians. So, like, the first time, me and Tom have known each other for over a decade at this point.
Yes.
And the first time I ever got to meet him was because I put on a show up in Milwaukee. I just reached out to Cullen, like, hey, I want to see you.
The first time you got to meet me in public, we had known each other since then.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, that made it sound like we just met each other. Okay. Yeah. Continue.
Yeah. The first time in person, the first time we were in the same room after knowing each other for a decade. But yeah, and just from doing my show, I like supporting independent artists and independent music and sharing my podcasts and stuff like that. And yeah, it's kind of what I do. I like sharing open source music because I've learned, and I'm going to probably ramble here. It all started for me.
Really?
Yes, me ramble?
It's kind of your thing. That's what you always start your show off with.
Yeah. But a long time ago when the RIAA started suing customers, I was like, no, I can't deal with this. This is dumb. How is it okay to go out there and sue your customer? And I found Creative Commons licensing and kind of have built a lot of my life around it. And it's been like this weird little podcast I do that hardly anybody tunes into has just become this great thing that has connected me with artists and musicians all around the world and allowed me to interact and travel and just have great musical adventures and support music.
Yeah. And well, first of all, okay, so I know these parts, but we got to ask the things here just so people can learn more about you. Now, first of all, where are you located?
I am based in the beautiful hub of Jackson, Mississippi. That musical epicenter of the world.
It's not that bad, though. I mean, you guys, okay, you have record stores. I know. So I went there just recently to visit you, and I was just wearing the other shirt that I bought from there yesterday. You took me around to some of the record stores. There weren't any clubs or anything that I know of down there that I really was aware of. I know that you had mentioned something. One of the record stores does have live shows in shop.
Yeah.
You showed me that.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, Jackson, Mississippi. And now let's get back to when you started the show. So now you said podcast and it is recorded, but you do it live. It is a live show. And it's one thing. I've been on your show. I've spoken with you. I know you. You've played us on the show. You've interviewed me on the show. You've had me play on your show. And truthfully, to this day, I am still very confused by a lot of the aspects of your show that you mentioned. And I'm always asking you about them because you do a live show, but then you also have a separate after show stream, but you also do a video stream, but so explain the process of how your show goes about. Tell me about running this show.
So I will say what happened. What had happened, Mr. Ray, was way back in the day. I was living in this tiny little town of Amory, Mississippi, which is just like 7,000 people. There's like no one there, and I am kind of a round peg trying to fit in a square hole in Mississippi sometimes.
Okay,
and I wanted to talk to people, and I found the internet, and I actually found podcasting and this whole thing with dropping music in, and I started doing a show through that with the help of Adam Curry.
I
And
wanted to get into that too. Yeah.
yeah, it started out on Friday nights. Well, it started out I was doing 5:30, 7 days a week. I'd do an hour show every single day. Then
Hmm.
it got to where I was just really doing one starting at 6 o'clock on Friday nights, where it started out as this 2.5 hour extravaganza. That's where I'd sit there and go through it and record the first 2.5 hours. I'd
Hmm.
actually would have interviews. I'd have all kinds of new music and stuff like that. And then after it got off and I got done, it was like, oh, well, I'm sitting here in front of the computer, I'm drinking, I'm listening to music. Why sign off? So I
Hmm.
would do what I called the after party, which kind of turned into this whole 24/7 stream. So, like, I have a
Okay.
stream that goes 24/7. I do like little shows along the way on the stream. The main one I do right now is Friday night at 6 p.m., where I just do the top 10. And then
Yeah.
I go into the after party and just like kind of screw around, and that's where the chaos happens.
Now let's get it. Okay, you mentioned one of the things that I have a note that I wanted to bring it up, but that's another thing I've always been confused by. So your stream is hosted by the No Agenda stream or
It's
by the
kind of
server?
it's run by the same thing. They used to host it and run all the back end. I've kind of split it apart from them a little bit. But Mark, if you need IT services, I have a great guy.
Okay.
He actually has ran the No Agenda stream forever, and he runs all my stuff. So it runs off their backbone, but there's a little separation on it and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's basically mirrored exactly what they're doing. It's got the same setup as what they're doing. And yeah, for years, Adam actually used to provide the bandwidth and everything for the show.
Now, how? Why? Do you know? How did you get connected with this? You've always alluded to Adam Curry, one of the very first MTV VJs, who then is the. I still, I'm gonna respectfully say yes, the creator of podcasting. Although I still kind of feel like it was a who beat who to the punch sort of thing history wise. But that's just my opinion. But
So,
yeah, how did you get hooked up with him?
so I'm going to say the Podfather is
The
like, I
Podfather.
love
Yeah,
that term used for
that's
him.
okay. Yeah.
And what it comes down to is I got my first Windows mobile phone, the old
Oh,
Tilt, a Microsoft Tilt phone. I don't know if you know which one I'm talking about. Fantastic. It was a smartphone.
okay.
And on that phone, it had an app called Kanoma. And of
Hmm.
course, I had to pay like $20 for an app, which $20 for an app sounds ridiculous.
That is very ridiculous.
But it suddenly had all these different podcasts I could sit there and find. That's where I first like got into Twit and stuff like that. And I came across No Agenda.
Hmm.
And I started listening to that, and that was Adam Curry's second podcast. His first one was the Daily Source Code. And that one, we can get into that, all really ties into the beginning of podcasting and everything,
Hmm.
um, especially in terms of iTunes. And the reason I say that ties into iTunes
Hmm.
is because when they first start using the RSS stuff, and Adam could tell the story better than I could, but he started messing around and he starts like, oh, this is what we can do. We can deliver content like this.
Hmm.
And basically, he started doing his daily source code show and messing around with it. And unbeknownst to him, the people at iTunes, at Apple, were seeing what he was doing and kind of configuring and making stuff work to go along in line with what he was doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
Um,
and what I remember about it is they basically approached him and said, we want to build this into what you're doing into the iPhone. And he went, cool. And then sold them the rights and then realized like, oh crap, now I don't own it anymore. Or not even that I don't own it. It's just that, oh, now they regulate it. Now they
yeah,
decide what it does. And
yeah,
and then
yeah,
that's
and
why he's now working or has been working on the podcast 2.0 sort of thing.
yeah, and he does a lot of interesting stuff on that and everything.
Yeah.
Um, but it was very interesting. Although I will say, one of the most hilarious things, there's actually a video of it on YouTube somewhere
Okay.
at Macworld. You know how Steve Jobs used to get up and always do the demos, and how
Hmm.
well rehearsed and how perfected he was in his demos.
Yeah.
He gets up there and he's like, yeah, I want to show you iTunes. And he had this other girl up there, and it's like, oh, here, look, here's Adam Curry's daily source code. And it goes through his introduction. And then all of a sudden Adam comes on and goes, you know, I almost didn't get today's show posted because my MacBook is acting like a motherfucker. And Steve and the other guy was like, stop.
That's funny.
But no, through his show No Agenda, that I kind of found
But
what
did you
he did.
contact him? Like, did you say, can I host my stream on there? Can I do
No,
a stream
well,
on there?
it went through like 20 different steps.
Okay.
So the thing is, and I love the model that No Agenda has, and is like really what I've based it on, is there's no advertising, there's no subscriptions, there's no that. If you like it, it's a value for value model. If I provide you value, you provide me value back. To where if you like what I'm doing, go ahead and send me money. And they would have like this whole producer section, because that's when you send somebody money, you are a producer for their show. You are helping them make this happen. And basically you get little shout outs during the show. So if you send them money, they'd read your note and say, oh, such and such came in with $50 donation and they called somebody a douchebag.
Right. Yeah.
And so it just went all through this. But through their model, they were very open to letting people participate and stuff like that. And they had their stream running and stuff like that. And through their stream, somebody did what they called the OSDSC, the open source daily source code, where you could suddenly drop tunes in it. And when Adam wasn't live, it was just taking those tunes that got dropped into the Dropbox and actually playing them out.
Oh.
So like you had this curated stream of music by a bunch of different people who were just listening.
Okay.
And I dropped Terrence and Phillips' banger, Uncle Fucka, into it. And I'm sorry if I need
From
to
South Park.
not cuss. Let me know. And everybody blew their minds. And so suddenly I was known to be like one of the guys that regularly started dropping stuff in.
Okay.
And at the same time as doing that, I was actually had this great idea, because it was right when YouTube was starting out. It was right when podcasting started out. And I'm like, it's really difficult to get somebody to listen to a 2.5 hour show. Like you're not going to get somebody to listen to it. But I was like, what I could do is I could take little clips out of the show, cut them down. This is interesting. Let's put it on YouTube. And then people could share this little 2-minute clip instead of 2.5 hour show.
Okay.
Which it's kind of what's happening with the shorts and stuff today. And
right.
I see a lot of your stuff to where you do the big long show, but you cut out the little bits.
Oh yeah.
And share it.
Yeah.
And I reached out and he's like, oh yeah, go and do it. He's like, yeah, we're licensed as our Creative Commons license. So you're good, set to reuse it and stuff. And so I actually started a project where I started making videos for the No Agenda stream. Okay. And I did a lot of them. I will say that I had a moment where I broke myself and I overwhelmed myself, but that's how I actually paid to go back to college. I ran a Kickstarter where I was making YouTube videos all the way back in like 2012, 20.
I don't know. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And that kind of all just pivoted into me doing my show and having a daily show, then a weekly show. And then I was like, well, can I get my own stream? And they set up my own stream and it just kind of grew from there.
Now you say that, but there is so it's a big step to go from that to like, how are you setting up your stream? How are you running your stream? Like, you don't just go, I just play music on my laptop and it goes out into the world. It has to connect to it somehow. So what kind of software did you start out using, and what are you using now?
So I started out, like I said, it was just a Dropbox where people were dropping it in.
Okay.
And then I ended up getting Sam Broadcaster, which Sam Broadcaster is closed source. We were both big fans of open source, but
yeah,
it was what it was. It's not an inexpensive piece of software, but it is what actual professional real radio stations use.
Yeah.
Like not just guys sitting in their office messing around. It's actually, if you go to a radio station, they'll actually have it running in there. But yeah, I've been using that software for the entire time and I absolutely love it. It's been my favorite software to create playlists and stuff like. through.
Yeah, you showed it to me when we met in Milwaukee, and you were showing your library, which I'm going to get into that in a little bit too. But you were just like, "Oh, and I do this, this, and this," and you were showing me, and you showed me like 20 things in like 5 seconds, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm not following what's happening here, but
Yeah.
I get the gist."
Well,
You know?
and I will say I've migrated from my old PC to my new PC, which there's a whole other story there that I'd
Uh-huh.
like to go into. But when I migrated, I lost it. But I had the ability through the playlist I've built. I could sit there and put a week's long worth of playlist together with maybe songs repeating 3 times tops in
Right.
that week,
Yeah.
and it's just built out. And I'm just like click, 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 boom.
hmm And so
Um,
you're still using the same software to this day, is what you're saying?
Yes, I am
Okay.
actually in the process of trying to migrate because
To
the
what?
whole Windows 10 went end of life.
Okay.
And I have this beautiful computer that is a great computer. The specs are still up to date. Like I can play high-end video games on it. I can do everything on it. But because Windows 10, Microsoft suddenly decided, "Oh, we're not going to support that anymore."
hmm
I suddenly had this machine with an old OS on it. So I actually installed Ubuntu Studio, thanks to you,
Oh, nice.
on it. And I've actually been trying to learn that to start moving over to that. Because with everything we do regarding open culture, I kind of feel like I do need to move over to that because that is the natural end. And
Huh.
so,
Okay. Yeah,
and
it makes sense because you are really, I would say, a huge proponent for music that is Creative Commons and freely
mhm.
available and reusable and stuff like that. Like you have probably one of the largest libraries of it that I know of. So moving on to that, are you going to be using the one I heard of from Dan? I forget his last name. Did the Linux show in the UK?
Dan Ryan or no?
No. Dan, shoot.
It's,
He did a
it's
music
method.
show, a podcast a long time ago that was based in England, and he had a guy that he co-hosted it with from Germany. Anyway, not important. It's going to come to me the second this is over because he was like literally someone I listened to all the
Yeah.
time, and he ended the show. But he told me that he used one even to record the podcast that they did that was called BUT, which stands for broadcast using this tool. And I believe that is in Ubuntu Studio, but that's what he used. And it's a radio, it's an actual
Yeah.
like Streamlist microphone, turn on and off, connect the chat to it type of thing. So I was curious if you had tried that.
I'm wanting to. I'm wanting to move over to that direction. And like I
Okay.
said, it's one of those things. It's so easy once you get stuck in a software and you've used software
Oh,
for so
yes.
long.
Oh, yeah, for
Like,
sure.
I hate MacBooks. I hate Apple products
I don't
because
care for them either.
I'm like, where's the right click button? Why do I not have the right click button?
Yeah, it's just working. Why not? Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, it was
Mac,
hilarious.
let me put it this way. Mac is the company that made it go, and it's only $2,000. Like, only $2,000 is not a phrase that,
No, like I can see
songs
that
are
on some
only
high end
99
games.
cents. Those are the only ones that they'll go, this is only worth less than $1. But everything else, like, oh, look at this. Here's some earbuds, and they're only $200. Go to hell. And then everybody
Yeah.
else started doing it. Anyway, sorry, small rant. Go
No,
ahead.
well, and I just want to agree on that, Rand. Like, I hate the built-in obsolescence of technology.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all of it's just built to be thrown away.
Yeah,
It drives me nuts. Like, you get this nice phone that you're sitting there using, and it's designed to be obsolete after 3-4 years.
right.
And it's not because it's not because of the phone itself. It's not because of the hardware. It's not because of any of that. It's just because the software manufacturers like we just don't care to support that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's that.
Going into Windows 10. I mean, Windows XP was supported for like, I don't know,
Yeah,
800 years. And
yeah,
then they replaced it with Windows 10. And then Windows 10, they're like, nah, it's been about 5 minutes. Maybe we should stop supporting that one too. Like why all of a sudden, I mean, not that I don't think that they shouldn't keep their security up to date. Like supporting
yeah,
Windows XP for the longest time was actually really horrible. But
yeah.
still, actually, it
But
was good for me because I was a really great Internet Explorer 6 bug fixer. So that was like literally what I got hired for a lot of stuff, was fixing website bugs on Windows or on IE6. And now it's just like, oh, no, you don't have to. Anyway, sorry, I keep going off on rants. We got to stay off technology.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, the technology is important to me.
Yeah.
But like the whole reason I had to migrate off this machine is because the third party, the TPM chip or something like that, my computer didn't support it. And because of that, there's just no option for me to upgrade it to Windows 11. Mm-hmm. And it's like, why should I throw that machine away?
Yeah, exactly.
It still works. It's still powerful. It's still good. And that's where I was like, all right, let's try Ubuntu.
You know what they should do? They should give people, like they do with cars. You know, your car's old enough, you can get like, you know, collector's items on it and then still use it and then brag about having it and how you still get to use it. They should do that with the laptops and the operating systems and stuff. And you can have a big sticker on the back that goes, you know, still using Windows 95.
Yeah.
It'll be like a badge of honor.
I will tell you, I know you had John Worthy on the show one time.
Yeah.
And I want to bring him up because he's finally giving up his iPhone 6.
Oh, yeah? Wow.
Yeah. He's been using an iPhone 6 till like last week. And he finally upgraded from his iPhone 6 to like an iPhone 6.
In the same boat. I think he just finally updated to whatever the next one was after 6, like maybe not too long ago.
It's just like, yeah. But the thing is there's no reason to. The only reason he had to upgrade is because, well, one, you can't fix it.
Right.
You can't replace the battery. And two, they just stopped supporting it for the software.
Yeah. I mean, eventually they have to go, we can't keep justifying hiring people to fix this thing that we don't want to support anymore.
Yeah.
We've moved on. Now, okay, so you're moving over to Ubuntu Studio and you were talking about switching your playlist thing, but now let's get to your music library, because we recently, I actually called on you for a promise I made to something I was going to do that I was like, wait, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And then I went, I know who could help me do this. And I contacted you. And that was for the Ubuntu Summit, the online summit music stream that we just did recently. And so the reason I contacted you, and this is how this is related, is because I said, or no, they asked me that, because I was like, I'm going to find people to do live performances to stream after the summit that they're doing online. And he said, what if you had, because he goes, I know you like Creative Commons music and you're really part of that community. What if you played Creative Commons music all day long that we could have on in the background at the location we're doing the summit, and then do the thing afterwards? And me, of course, just going, yes, you know, like, of course I can. And then I thought of you and said, hey, I need your help. And you, because like you just said before, if you needed to, you could play songs for 3 days straight. That's all Creative Commons without repeating one. And you did. You did it for 2 days. We only needed 2 days, but you did it. So tell me about your library, first of all. How long have you been collecting Creative Commons music?
So cataloged in a spreadsheet, and I'm actually going to go back something because it's funny that I brought up my library to talk about my library, and I have my Ryno CC music spreadsheet, and on the first page of that is 20 Pound Sounds, which
there you go.
The lead singer is Dan Lynch.
Dan Lynch. That was who I was thinking of earlier when I was trying to think of the podcast. I knew his name was Dan, but I couldn't remember the last name. There you go. That's the guy who told me about the broadcast using this tool software.
The butt.
Yeah. The butt.
So right now in my library that I have actually gone through, cataloged, have a link for it in the Creative Commons license tag to it, I have 5,573 tracks.
You sent me a link to that spreadsheet and it was nonsense to me because I was just originally going to go and pick some songs and I'm like, I can't look through all this. He knows it. And I'm like, why don't you do it?
Yeah. Oh, and I was super happy to, because I want to tell you, like, this is one of those moments where real people, you say Ubuntu Summit, they're like, okay, yeah, whatever is that? I don't care about that. I told the people I work with, I'm like, oh no, I'm getting to participate in Ubuntu Summit. Right. They're like, oh, holy shit, that's cool as hell.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things, if you're a software person and you know servers and stuff like that, it's suddenly like, oh, that's cool. That's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, because Linux is mostly used for the stuff that the websites you visit. Like it's
Yeah,
all mostly hosted on Linux and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's
yeah.
popular in that area.
Oh yeah. But what had happened, Mr. Ray,
Yeah.
um, is Progo, one of the programmers that hung out in my IRC chat room, which I need to fix the link to my IRC chat and stuff like that. So if you like IRC chat, a lot of my stuff still resides in the IRC chat. He actually built us a vote bot way back in like 2015.
Okay.
And so as I was sitting there playing the tracks through, and you were in the IRC chat, and even still to today, you can actually go in and vote on the tracks. And that's how I determine the top 10 lists and stuff like that.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Because you
So
said your show
because of
right
that,
now is a top 10. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So that way, as I sit there and go through and get these, I can actually bring the links over and it's like, oh, okay, here's what's played. This is it. Let's go create a spreadsheet that links here. Let me go and put all the details into it. And it allows me to automate a lot of the work I do and stuff. But basically, every track that gets played, Pint Size, our little vote bot, says, okay, this song was first played then, this time. Here's who's voted for it. Here's how many times it's been voted for. And I started doing that, and I'd start putting together a top 100 show. I did the first one in 2015, so I will be doing my 10th top 100 show this
Oh,
year.
yeah. End of the year. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, because I need to have that and I need to have links and I want to share it all back to the artists and stuff like that, I just have the link in there. So that way, instead of having to create 100 links, I just create a spreadsheet, number them out, and it's done.
Okay.
Automation is great.
Right. Oh, of course. Yeah. No, I love it's actually one of automation is something I get so used to that when we switched our current site over to a static generated website, so I'm doing a Jekyll site, like my site is, or the Lorenzo site is completely open source now. I forget with the CMS I was using, I was like, oh, I could schedule these posts and like do a bunch of them ahead of time, and then I wouldn't have to post for like a week or so. And now it's like, oh, I got to post it myself. Anyway, sorry, you said automation, and it made me think of something I'm struggling
but
with
no,
right now.
it just makes it really easy. So every time I get new music, I just add kind of links to this giant spreadsheet and just keeps building.
Now, finding the music, that is something that personally I think has become harder, more difficult over the years. How are you finding Creative Commons music these days? I mean, I know you can search for it on Bandcamp, but it's such a crapshoot what's going to pop up because it's not, while it says you can filter for that, if somebody doesn't tag it that, it doesn't really filter by and they selected this license on Bandcamp. It's only really if they said that it's Creative Commons, So how are you finding it?
So at this moment, when I really want to go looking, I'll go and search, and I have a Google search string that I use that actually will do the filtering on Bandcamp for you. But because I've gotten such a huge library in Bandcamp over the years, like, let's see, we're going to do the numbers. As of today, my collection in Bandcamp is 1,164 items.
You're saying if you're looking at your membership profile on Bandcamp?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Damn. All right.
So
and I don't know why that's surprising to me. I know that's what you do. I mean, when I was at your house, you have an entire bookshelf dedicated to even like the tchotchkes and baubles and things that that bands offer when you can buy, download their stuff, and you collect it and you have it all on display.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because support people. But because my library's gotten so big out there, and I have a few people I follow, like I just once a month, usually on Bandcamp Friday, because Bandcamp Friday is one of the best things ever, I will just go through and I'll have 60, 70 emails from different bands, different people that have bought stuff, and I'll just go through that list and I'll find a bunch of new stuff there.
And well, on top of it too, a lot of it also comes from, and we didn't really get into this, you mentioned it briefly, your chat that you do with the live stream. Yeah. I know from experience that it is a really dedicated group of people that you hang out with.
Oh yeah.
Your show is really actually based around that. You talk and you go through the chat and
Yes.
people discuss, and they even kind of drive what happens on the show to the point where you guys vote on what the title of the show should be when it's over.
Oh yeah.
And but they also probably tell you about music or go follow this or like
Yes.
I've found this as well. So
Yes.
tell me about the chat and the interaction actually.
The chat is actually my favorite part, and I need to fix some stuff. Chat, I love you. I need to fix the link. My link, for some reason, on my website that says "Join Chat Now" isn't working, and
Oh,
look. I don't push buttons. I don't push buttons.
okay.
I can look at it and say, "Hey, you need to fix that. There's something wrong with it." I'm on the GRC side of IT, if you know what that means.
No.
I'm government governance, risk, and compliance.
Okay.
So I'm on over there with the people writing the policies and stuff like that. The people are like, "Hey, you need to make sure that computer logs off after 15 minutes." You're welcome.
Okay.
So
right.
that's kind of stuff I do. I do that side, but I don't press the buttons. So I need to fix my chat room. But yeah, we just sit there and hang out on Friday night, and we'll sit there and talk and carry on and just have fun. And it's really actually what makes the show worthwhile for me to keep doing.
It's a fun part of it. Doing
Yeah,
your show when I was down there, and you and I would be chatting, and then all of a sudden things would just pop up to the point where, like, I believe at one time I was just sitting there reading what people were writing. I'm like, oh yeah, wait, we're supposed to be talking.
yeah. Well, and the thing is way back, and like I said, my career's taken off, so I don't spend as much time on it as I used to. But like back in the old day when I got on at 6 p.m., I had people that were at midnight over in Europe that were tuned in listening, and they were sitting there chatting. So I had this whole group of people I was talking to over in Europe. And then as the night went on, by the time it got midnight here, I had people out on the west coast of the US tuned in listening, chatting. So there was always somebody there. There's always some chat going. But it's my chance to hang out with my friends and people I like to talk to and share music with.
Yeah.
And it really is that. It's that moment to like share and be connected with people.
Yeah. Now, here's something that just popped into my head. And I mean, I know you're probably too busy to do this now, or, just because you do have work that you do that occupies a lot of your time, like you were saying. But why have you never started a net label? Why have you never, or even just a label in general? With the music knowledge you have and the connections through the different Creative Commons musicians that you know, why have you never done a net label?
I don't know. I've never really actually thought about it. The one thing I'm working on, and I still, I was not prepared, and I should have gotten you a good show out, and I've gotten better about that. I kind of peaks and valleys, but I'm really starting to work on trying to focus on local stuff.
Yeah.
And actually start like with the local shows, getting more artists to come in and stuff like that. Like Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends just came down a couple weeks ago. And
I didn't see
then
that. I
John,
didn't know that. Okay.
yeah, oh yeah. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to focus on the local stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm actually trying to help promote shows that are local bands and proselytize to them about Creative Commons and be like, hey, this is what it's about. This is what I do. And try to convince some of them to release. And I've actually been in talks with some of them to actually come over and do old FMA style, like, hey, you do a live set at the house, we record it, and we release it in their Creative Commons. And that's your first entry to it.
Yeah.
And so that's where I've kind of been focusing there, is more trying to promote so that when I have bands come here and I get bands to come to Jackson, Mississippi, because who really wants to come to Jackson, Mississippi? But I've made it a place that a lot of bands actually want to come back here and stuff like that. I still think it's hilarious. With John, he comes here like twice a year now.
Yeah, but he's only like an hour away. I mean, and I only say that just because I drove all the way from Wisconsin down there, and then my car broke down, and I was in a shitty mood the whole time.
I know. Well, he comes from Nashville. That's a little over an hour. It's 4-5 hours. But
dude, I do that on a weekend. That's nothing. Yeah. I mean, I love John, and he does great work when he's down there, but he doesn't have to take the travel that the rest of the people do.
No. But I think it's funny. Like, he'll come here, then he'll go to like South America.
Right. Yeah.
It's like you come here to do my show, then you go somewhere real.
Yeah. Somewhere real.
But the other thing I've started doing, like in regards to kind of like not really a net label, but kind of is on that physical front and stuff like that,
Yeah.
is part of my local focus is all the different artists I like. When I go out on Bandcamp, if they offer records, I'll buy
Mm-hmm.
two of them, and I'll get one for me to keep, and I'll take one to the record store. And I have
Oh
actually
yeah.
gotten to where I have a little small section in the record store called Ryno's Picks, and
Yep.
it's just all the different music that I got that I'm like, I love this artist, I want to share them. I start dropping them in there.
I forgot that. That was one of the trips we took around the town where you took us to the record stores because you were actually dropping off albums that you had bought, and
Yeah.
we spoke to the owners and stuff like that. Yeah. What was the name of that one? On the topic here, I remember there was the End of the World, or no, the End of
End
All
of all
Music,
music,
and then there was the one that was also kind of like a comic book store.
offbeat.
Offbeat. That's what it was. I was trying to remember the name of that one and I couldn't. Okay. All right. So now
Which
with
I
the
just
show.
want to say, see, I got that right there. That Pink Matters Majin Buu,
Oh,
actually from Offbeat.
behind your
Yeah,
trailer. Okay.
yeah,
Um, Now with you were talking about doing the local stuff. Now you and I, like you said earlier, we finally got to meet in person because you set up a show in Milwaukee. You came here to Milwaukee. You set up a show. You were doing a few other that way too, you were traveling around and going to places where bands you knew were and setting up shows.
yeah.
Now, how were you setting those up? Because booking shows is a pain. So how how were you setting them up?
So I have not done as many of those, but like the last one I did that was out and about was in Charlotte, North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
and Walls. He's actually on Block Sonic, one of the
Okay.
artists on there. But I knew that he lived there in Charlotte, and I reached out and I was like, "Hey, man, I want to. I'm coming out there on this time. I'm wanting to try to set up a show. I'm like, I got some money for you if you'll do it." And he's like, "Yeah," and he went and took care of the rest of it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So he helped book that up too. Okay. So
Yeah,
it was through the connections, and then you were like, locally, here's where I'm going, and then set it up. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. See, now that's the thing is I feel like I have the networking chops, but when I go to do that stuff, all of a sudden I don't know anybody that I'm like, oh, wait, maybe I don't know somebody that can do that or set up shows out of town.
Although going back to John and shows out of town, we're working on it. I have to get my passport renewed, but we are talking about trying to do an international trip next year.
Oh, really?
And we've talked to Josh from Lewis Ling and the Bombs, and they're like, "Yes, we'll get a show set up in Paris."
Yeah.
And then, Groner Waffle. So, well, I can't remember his name. Giant, tall guy, German, in Cologne, Germany. He's like, "Yeah, and we can get a show set up in Cologne, Germany." Why am I forgetting his name? He's probably going to watch this and be like, "How did he forget my name?" But we're so like, if that all comes out, we're going to have ones in Paris and Cologne, Germany next year.
See, I tried to do something like that. That's actually how I ended up with the Ubuntu Summit thing because I originally, because I found they were doing it in London, and I was like, I know musicians in London, people that I've met on Mastodon and had on the podcast. And I was like, what if I set up a show where it was like nearby or like clubs, and we would promote it as open source Creative Commons music by where it was happening.
Yeah.
And I was reaching out to the people I know from when we did the Ubuntu Summit in Prague, and they were like, oh, well, that's not quite how we're doing it this year. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't care how you're doing it. I just want to know around where it's located so I could set up shows there. And then that's when finally they were just hiding, or it was a big reveal that it was going to be online. So he couldn't tell me what was going on. And then that's when I pivoted real fast. And I was like, what if we just did this? And the whole synapses are firing. But anyway, what I was getting at is I was trying to set up shows there. And then also I wanted to go to the Linux audio conference, I think it is. LAC. Yeah. And it was in France. I want to say that's what it was called. It's it's a developer for like open source music on Linux and all that kind of stuff. It's really for programmers, but I was trying to do a talk there about how we collaborate using GitHub with Arter and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I wanted to book a show there, and I was totally talking to Louis Ling about like trying to set that up, but then I ended up not going. Anyway,
I just want to say, and I don't know if you remember this, but I'm going to say the Linux audio people are doing the Lord's work.
Oh yeah.
Because when we first talked a long, long time ago,
okay,
you asked us like, "Oh, why haven't you tried Linux?" And I said, "Well, I want my audio to work."
Well, back when we were talking, yes, that was very true. Actually, audio was one of the things that worked better than my frustration was with video. Video was a horrible thing on there. No, they got it all working out. But truthfully, once Ubuntu started doing stuff, and I know this can be an argument amongst the community, but they put a lot of the speed and the backing behind trying to get things to work properly. Even though it's one of those like dude came in with the money is how it really worked. But I mean, he did, and he did it. Funny story. Now, just because I mentioned it, so Mark Shuttleworth, the guy who runs the head, I don't know his actual position, but of Canonical, which does Ubuntu. When we were at the summit in Prague, I got on the elevator and he got on the elevator. It was one of those moments where it's like, I don't know what to say to this guy, so we were on the elevator alone. I knew it was him. He said something to me, didn't quite understand what he said. And I went, oh yeah. And then he just kind of looked at me like, that's not an answer. And I'm like, I don't know what you said. It was just one of those, like, I was thinking to myself, like, holy shit, that's Mark Shuttleworth. And then it was one of those, wait, he just said something to me. So I nodded my head and was like, yeah. And then he's like, okay.
I don't know how to respond to that.
He just looked at me like, why did you respond that way? He specifically might have said, what's your name? And I went, oh, yeah. I don't know. I was distracted.
Did you actually get him to clarify what he said later, or you just...
No, not really. It wasn't that tall of a hotel. It was only like 3 stories. So the elevator went up and we just kind of stood there looking awkwardly. And I was like, my band's playing at the after party. So thanks for that, I think is what I said. Kind of just like, and by the way. And he was like, oh, great. Glad to have you here. And then he walked away. I don't know.
That's funny.
Well,
I think you've also noticed, and this is one of those things that's weird. I'm a total introvert, but I can fake it really great. Like if you met me, you would never know it. But like one of my friends here, he's like, you're always booking your shows, and he's like, you never come out for shows other than your own shows. And I'm like, that's fair. But honestly, I don't even like coming out for my shows. I'm like, I'd rather be at the house, having it there, sitting in my chair, having my whiskey, having my food and stuff like that. And he's like, no, I get that.
Right.
So like, no. I can't deal with crowds that well, but I will start a conversation with anybody and just be like, hey, how you doing?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. No, I would say it's a different word than introvert, but I get what you're saying, because I mean, I've known you so long that it's just like, I mean, you and I, seriously, anybody listen to this, it's like, how many topics have we changed so far? And speaking of which, so let's get back on task here. I want to ask one more thing before we get out of here today. Now, you were talking about doing the top 100.
Yeah.
For now, this is the end of the year thing. You're doing the top 100, and why? First of all, why am I not getting 10 million emails saying like, "Hey, view your top 100 Wrapped list"? Jesus, I'm so sick of those damn things. Anyway, sorry, rant. Now, what is your process? What are you going to do? How is this all going to come about? What are your plans for this top 100? How can we participate? Tell me about it.
So ryno.cc, ryno.cc, and you'll see a listen live link, which will get you to the stream. Then you might have to figure out how to get into the chat room, because my chat room's broken right now.
Yeah, you might want to fix that before this goes on, but okay, that's up to you.
Yeah. Well, it's irc.zeronode.net, and it's 00. So, there's some people that are nerds that heard that and like, oh, I know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the normies that are just going, "What's going on? Why?" But yeah, but no, I just sit there. I'll take my spreadsheets and my collection, and I'll just dump it into my spreadsheet, work some calculation magic, and then some V lookups, and then just one, two, three, and just count it down.
So you really just kind of do it on the fly, is what you're saying?
Well, no, I prepare it in advance. Like
Okay.
I get the spreadsheet, but like I'll get the spreadsheet and I'll have there'll probably be like 1,200 new tracks for this year. Actually, this year's probably shorter. There's probably like 400 or 500 new tracks that I dropped in this year. And I'll just go through based on the vote total, and just pick, all right, here's our number one, here's the number two, and just number them down through, then invert the list and just start at the bottom and work my way up.
Now, do you do this are you going to do this all in a row? How long is the 100 show?
I do it all in a row.
I love the response.
It is a kind of a long adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say the first year I did it, and the like first couple of years I did it, I would actually reach out to artists and be like, "Hey, you're in at this point. Can you record something for me?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'd get little bumpers done in it. But now I'm just like going through it.
Right, that's a lot of work.
It's 7 to 10 hours straight.
Okay.
I used to actually even time it out to where I hit number one at midnight.
I vaguely remember you doing that. Okay. Yeah.
But now I'm old and I'm just like, no, I'm just starting now. I can start now. I can finish now. It doesn't have to match the time. We can pretend it's New Year's Eve as I hit number one, but yeah, then we just got to go from there.
Okay. And just to let people know again, I mean, your stream is available all the time. You have past shows on the stream at your website, but the show itself is Friday nights at what time?
6 p.m. U.S. Central.
U.S. Central. And me, I don't know what it is, and I've told you this so many times. I'm always like, because I'm usually driving and I can actually turn it on, but every Friday I'll get done driving and then I'll be like, wait, it's Friday. Oh shit, I missed this show. Like I missed your show so much. I still try to tune in while I'm out and about, and I'll catch it like maybe 50% of the time, but I always forget. So do you have a calendar reminder or something like that, or should I just set up my own?
I think you're going to have to set up your own.
Okay. I didn't know if you that's right. You're still trying to figure out how to get the chat button to work.
Yes. It used to work. It used to get me right in there. And I will say one of the other things I find weird is I've kind of put myself in the obscurity because I don't like the social media stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm down to just using Mastodon.
Yep. Yeah, you moved from you did have the main Twitter presence for a really long time, and that was where a lot of your audience. Did you find when you migrated over there, was it much different? What are your thoughts on switching over to that? And you host it yourself. You have your own server.
Yes. Yeah. Social.ryno.cc. The only two people, well, there's three people on there. There's me, there's my dog, Joe.
Oh, right.
I didn't have the dog when you were down here. The dog's new.
No, you did. You did have the dog. It was down there.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because you showed me his feed. That's right. Because you were showing me pictures of it. Yeah.
At Joe. But I like it because I have the control over what's there. Like I'm not being force fed by some algorithm to tell me what somebody else wants to. It's more, I'm happier with the content I get from it. And I don't feel like I'm just producing for somebody else when I do stuff. Like when I put something out there, it's for me. It's because I wanted to put it out there. It's not because I'm chasing some number or chasing some algorithm. It's just like, this is what I wanted to post because that was what made me happy for the day.
Yeah. And so you still find the engagement or even the interaction just as good as it was on Twitter?
Yes. And I actually find it's less hostile.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that was kind of a given, I suppose.
Yeah. Like it's, and it's also more my audience.
Yeah.
You know, it's more people like us.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean when I say people like us. Like,
You don't have to explain what Creative Commons is to them. You don't
yeah,
have to explain what the value of open source and and supporting musicians or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and like, talking about the value, that's the one thing I always try to, like, so hard to explain, that culture is built upon culture.
Hmm.
Nothing is made in a vacuum. But here we are trying to force these artificial constraints on culture and what you can do with culture. And I think that stagnates it and gives us this just media machine. Like, I've realized, and it annoys the hell out of me, like, the award ceremonies are just rich people patting themselves on the back.
Hmm.
Like, the Oscars is just a bunch of rich people patting themselves on the back for all this money they sent. The Emmys, it's like this club. It's like, it's this club that you're trying to get into, and once you're in there, it's this walled garden, where I don't want to be part of the walled garden. I want to be something that, like, gets shared out and, like, people enjoy just because they want to.
Hmm.
And
Well, and I mean, you have been making a show that's based on what you want to listen to and finding other people that want to listen to it for many, many years. So
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, it's a fun hobby. I mean, although I
exactly.
will tell you that my goal, and I've put the timeline on there, and I talk about this timeline often. 55, so 5 years and 3 months. I want to try to be in a position that I can walk away from the corporate world
Hmm.
and focus on doing the show again, and, like, trying to build it to where I'm not doing it just to make money, that I'm doing it because I have a little money, and then it can supplement, and I can really focus on doing something I enjoy. Because when I was doing it first and I was really had the time, like, it was nothing for me to do 3-4 nights a week of shows.
Right.
Like, I used to always do the interviews, which I do 2 hour long interviews, unformatted, which I always thought were fun. And the first unformatted was actually Kevin McLeod, and it's just 2 hours of rambling, and it was, like, really great and fun to kind of talk to people like that. But now I have this computer job, and I'm always on the computer. That after I've spent 40 to 45 hours at work on
Right.
the computer, it's hard to be like, oh, let me go hop on the computer again.
Exactly.
It's like, oh God, let me get away from this thing for 5 minutes.
Well, and also, I don't want you to take this a certain way, but speaking of that, if thank you for joining me today. I was
Well,
literally just going like, I was going to wrap this up, and then you said that, and now it's like, well, now who's an ass? Me? No, no, no. But of course, it's always great to see you. And also, let's tell the people once again, if they want to listen to your stream, check it out on Fridays, or even just listen to it in the background during the week. Where can they go
yeah.
do that?
Yep. Rhino.cc will get you to the website, ryno.cc. And I got to say, I love it. 6 characters. I mean,
I know you got a really good short handle. It's yeah.
I mean, and that's where I'm building everything off of it. But if you want to go straight to the stream.ryno.cc/oo, and that'll get you straight to the music. You don't even have to look at all the other stuff.
Hmm.
My podcast feeds are also messed up because ain't nobody got time for that.
Exactly.
I mean, it's look, some of it's mess, some of it's hard to find. It's funny. I actually call my main show is that show with the host is what I
Hmm.
call my top 10, because how does that work for SEO?
Right.
Oh yeah, I'm looking for that show with the host.
I don't know. Seems pretty solid to me.
I haven't tried to Google it. I'm gonna have to go Google it and see if I can actually find it, and go into an incognito browser and see what I can find if I do it. But yeah, 6 p.m. U.S. Central. On YouTube, I do post some stuff there. Ryno the Bearded on YouTube. Usually, when I have live shows in the house, I stream them on Twitch,
Hmm.
which I know you're wrapping it up. Do you have a preference, Twitch or YouTube?
Oh, for those, it's hard to say. It really is. It's kind of 50-50. One is YouTube is great for what it can do, but going live is different. Their focus is more on like I don't know, the more if you go to their live page with live streams that are on, take a look at it one time and you'll see what I mean. It's really just, it's news coverage. It's possibly somebody just playing old episodes of like, the Real Housewives or something like that. It's not really like, here's people doing stuff live right now. On Twitch, it is people doing stuff live right now. But the thing is on Twitch, everybody's doing stuff live right now, so it's hard to compete. Whereas on YouTube, if you're doing it live, it's telling you, hey, this person's live. It's just that it's not easy to find. I don't know. So it's 50-50. I don't have a preference. No, that's a long way of saying no, okay. I don't have a preference. I do both.
Yeah. But though that's where to find me. And
I love it. That was the response to, oh yeah, that's right, I was saying this.
Yeah. Well, and the last thing I will hit is the one thing I always say, and this is what I want people to understand, and I preach every day, is support people.
Yes.
And that is one of the things, and I think you've heard me say it. Mm-hmm. I could give Taylor Swift $1,000 and she wouldn't even notice. She farts more than that. I mean, it's not. But like people like you, like John, like Conan Neutron, like Walls, all these artists like Josh from Lewis Lincoln Bombs, if you give them money like that, that's a big deal. That's like, hey, I get to keep living my dream a little bit longer. Hey, I know I'm going to be a little better on rent this month. I know all this thing. To me, the whole basic of everything I do on this is it's about supporting independent artists and people like you, Tom, and like the people that you have on this show all the time, because I want to see independent people make it. It's like, I always hate it when people say music today isn't as good as music used to be.
Oh my God, tell me about it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you just remember the best of what used to be.
Or you're not looking for it. That's the other thing too.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's just tons and tons of great musicians out there putting out great stuff, and you're just not hearing them because they're drowned out by the noise.
Nice. Now see, that's the way to end a show. Damn, right there. Ryno, it is always great to talk to you. I love talking to you.
Yes, we're going to have to talk again soon.